Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? Hope everybody is doing amazingly well. Welcome back to another lesson of English with Ashish. And guys, today in this lesson, we are going to learn what a cleft sentence is. What is a cleft sentence? How do we use it? Where do we use it? How to identify it? We'll learn everything about it. So make sure you watch the lesson until the end. It's gonna be informative, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna step up your English game. So I'm excited. I know you guys are too. Let's do it. Alright everybody, now let's understand what exactly a cleft sentence is. And before we do that, let's quickly understand what exactly this word cleft means. Cleft. What is cleft here? So cleft is a past tense of cleave. The verb cleave, which means to split or break or divide. So cleft means divided, broken, split, right? Now what is a cleft sentence? Guys, a cleft sentence is a mechanism where you split one idea into two parts and focus on one particular element of the sentence. That could be your subject, your object of the verb, object of the preposition, that could be an adverbial as well, right? So a cleft sentence is a way to put focus on one particular element of the sentence. This is what a cleft sentence is, right? Broken, divided sentence. Now let's read the definition and learn more about it. So a cleft sentence focuses on one part of a sentence. It focuses on one specific part of a sentence. It adds, this is a way to add the part that is already known or understood to both the speaker and the listener to what is not known to the speaker. So in a cleft sentence, you have two parts. One that is already understood or known, and the other which the speaker focuses on, which the listener does not know, which is new information to the listener, all right, or the corrected information. So a cleft sentence is a mechanism to add focus on what is more important to us, to the speaker. It is a mechanism, it is a way to put focus, to put emphasis on what is more important to us, right? Maybe we are correcting somebody, or we want to put focus on one particular part of the sentence, right? Now here in cleft sentences, a single idea, one particular idea is divided into two parts, as I just said, where the focus is placed on one particular element, right? So now we know what a cleft sentence is theoretically. Now let's look at an example and understand how it looks like. So we have taken a sample example, and I will be showing you how you can create a cleft sentence. All right. So the example is, Monica took $1 lakh from a beggar last night. This is a statement. This is not a cleft sentence, right? There is no one particular part the speaker is focusing on here. That is not the case. It is not a cleft sentence, right? Simple sentence, Monica took $1 lakh from a beggar last night. So we have a couple of elements in the sentence. Let's write them down. Number one, the subject, right, which is Monica, which is very clear. She's the one doing the action. Then we have the verb, that is took, right? Then we have the object of the verb, right, of the verb, direct object, which is $1 lakh. All right, let's just use the dollar sign. And then we have the object of the preposition, which is from a beggar, right? And we also have an adverbial, right? Adverbial, which is last night, right? An adverb that is talking about the time of the action. Now, understand, if I want to focus on the subject of the sentence, if I want to focus on the person that performed the action, now the scenario could be, let's suppose you as a listener or the person I'm talking to, you know that somebody took $1 lakh from a beggar last night, or you do not know the name of the person, or you are incorrectly naming the person. You say, Rahul took $1 lakh from a beggar last night, and I want to correct you, and I want to put focus on the person who did the action, right? I'll use a clef structure. So let's focus on the subject of the sentence. So I'll say, it was Monica who took $1 lakh from a beggar last night. It was Monica. So we're using a pseudo subject, which is it. It is not referring to anything. It is a fake subject, pseudo subject. Then we have this verb, was to be verb, and then we have the part that we want to focus on, that is the subject of the sentence. It was Monica, and after that we have the part that is already known to us, that is already understood to us, that somebody took $1 lakh from a beggar last night. This is the same information. This is information that we already know. What we added is this subject Monica, this person that we want to focus on. I want you to focus on this particular piece of information, which is Monica. Hey, it was Monica who took $1 lakh from the beggar last night. So focusing on one particular item or one particular element in a sentence in speaking is very easy, because you can use intonation, you can use your voice, you can rise it and focus on the part that you want to focus on. But in writing, we use cleft sentences to add the focus on particular items, right? So it was Monica who did this, right? So who took $1 lakh, who took $1 lakh from a beggar last night? This is a relative clause, right? A dependent clause working as an adjective. So it's basically an adjective clause, right? It was Monica followed by the information that we already know. Now, let's suppose I want to focus on the object now. I want to focus on the object. It was $1 lakh. It was $1 lakh, right? It was $1 lakh that Monica took from the beggar last night. So you come to me and you say, hey Ashish, do you know that Monica took some money from a beggar last night? And I say, some money? Some money? What are you talking about? It was $1 lakh she took from the beggar. It was $1 lakh. It was, let's change the color of the pen, all right? It was $1 lakh she took from the beggar last night. It was $1 lakh. So I am focusing on the object of the verb, that is $1 lakh. She took what? $1 lakh. And the other part is already known to us, is already understood to us. It was $1 lakh that Monica took from the beggar last night, or it was $1 lakh that were taken from the beggar last night by Monica. Whatever voice you want to use, you can do that, right? Now, I want to focus on the object of the preposition, the person whom this money was taken from, all right, which is the beggar, right? I want to focus on the person, right? Poor guy, beggar. So what you know is, let's suppose same thing. You come to me and you say, Monica took $1 lakh from somebody last night. And I say, somebody? Do you know who the person was? What do you mean by somebody? Monica took some money, or Monica took $1 lakh from somebody last night. And I say, somebody? It was a beggar. It was a beggar whom Monica took $1 lakh from, right? Not just thousand, $1 lakh from. It was a beggar who Monica took $1 lakh from last night, right? Whom or who, both are fine, all right? Technically, whom is a better conjunction, but who is also accepted, right? It was a beggar. What are you talking about, my man? It was a beggar who she took $1 lakh from last night. It was a beggar. So here I'm focusing on the object of the preposition a beggar. Object of the preposition from, right? From whom? Beggar, a beggar. It was a beggar who Monica took $1 lakh from. Now, let's suppose everything is known to us. I want to focus on the time when the action happened. Do you know that Monica took some money from a beggar? And I say, yeah, I do. But do you know when it happened? Do you know when it happened? Now I want to focus on the time. So I'll say, it was last night. It was last night when Monica took, same thing, $1 lakh from a beggar. It was this close. So I want to focus on the time of the action, which is last night. It was just last night. Brother, my friend, do you understand what I'm saying? It was just last night. The case is very fresh. It was last night when Monica took $1 lakh from a beggar. So this is how in writing you place focus on a particular part using a cleft structure, using a cleft sentence. Right. Now there are different ways to put focus on one particular element of a sentence. So we have different types of cleft sentences. Let's look at them one by one. The most common cleft sentence is it cleft sentence, right? Using the pseudo it. This is the most common cleft sentence we have in English, right? So it cleft sentences are used to correct information. It generally happens. It cleft sentences are used to correct information. Somebody says something and you correct one particular piece of information and focus on the newly added information. Somebody says something to you, and in that message, one particular part of information, one particular element is incorrect, and you focus on that element by correcting it. Okay. Let me give you some examples to make you understand. All right. And before that, let's look at the structure. So in the beginning, we have the pseudo subject, it. Then we have to be form of a verb, which is, am, are, was, were, right? Followed by, generally we use a singular verb, right? Like is or was. Is in the present, was in the past, right? Then we have the focus element, we're calling it X. The focus element, the part that we focus on. And then we have a dependent clause, which is basically a relative clause working as an adjective. So it's basically an adjective clause. All right, this is how an if cleft sentence looks like. First, it followed by to be form of verb, generally is or was, is in the present, was in the past, followed by the part you focus on, followed by the element you focus on, followed by a dependent clause which works as an adjective. So it's basically an adjective clause. All right, now let's take some examples and understand this. All right, example number one, Muskan. Muskan says, I think Smriti paid for your college fee. Didn't she? Didn't she? I think Smriti paid for your college fee. Didn't she? To which John says, no, it was Rahul who did that. No, this piece of information is incorrect. Which piece? The person who did the action. It's not Smriti. It was Rahul. It was Rahul who did that. So it was Rahul who paid for my college fee. Who did what? Who paid for my college fee? So this part is already understood. We're just focusing on the newly added information. The person says something in which one particular element is incorrect and you want to focus on that and you want to correct it as well. So it was not Smriti who paid for my college fee. It was Rahul who did that. Now, a normal sentence would be Rahul paid for my college fee, not Smriti, right? Not Smriti, or you don't even have to add not Smriti, right? Rahul paid for my college fee. But it's less emphatic. The more emphatic sentence is, it was Rahul who did that. It was Rahul who paid for my college fee. All right, let's take more examples. Alex to John. Someone saved your sister from falling into a pot. Someone saved your sister from falling into a pot. To which John says, it was my friend Anoop who did that. So you are telling me something in which you do not know the name of the person who did the action. You basically do not know the subject of the sentence, right? So you're using an indefinite pronoun, which is someone. Someone saved your sister from falling into a pot, and I want to focus on the person who did that. So I'll say, it was my friend Anoop. It was my friend Anoop. Since the sentence is in the past, I'm using the past form of to be, right, was, it was my friend Anoop. You hear me? It was my friend Anoop who did that. It was my friend Anoop who saved my sister from falling into a path, right? You don't even have to complete the sentence here because it's already understood. It was my friend Anoop. You can simply say it was my friend Anoop. It was my friend Anoop, right? If you want to complete the sentence by repeating the information which is already known to you, you can do that. You can say, it was my friend Anoop who saved my sister from falling into a pot. You follow me? Again, a normal sentence would be, my friend Anoop saved my sister from falling into a pot. Right. Let me give you another example. Maxwell to Smith. I spoke to your father yesterday. I spoke to your father yesterday. To which Smith says, no, you didn't. It was my uncle who you spoke to. It was my uncle, right? So I'm correcting you. It was not my father you spoke to. So your father is the object of the prepositions to, right? So I'm focusing on the object of the preposition. It was not my father you spoke to yesterday. It was my uncle. In a normal sentence, I would say, you spoke to my uncle, not my father. You spoke to my uncle. But I want to focus on the part that I'm correcting, right? It was my uncle you spoke to. Can I use it in the present tense? Yes. I speak to your father every day. No, it's my uncle. It is my uncle you speak to every day. All right. Now, what can you focus on in a cleft sentence? You can focus on the subject of the sentence. You can focus on the object of a verb. You can also focus on the object of a preposition. You can also focus on an adverbial, right? An adverb. Let me show you that. Right. Alex bought a luxury car from Rahul the day before yesterday. Alex bought something from somebody when? The day before yesterday. So we have the subject, which is Alex. Give me a second. Let's use yellow color. So we have Alex, the subject. We have the direct object, which is a luxury car, direct object, right? We have the preposition from, we have the object of the preposition, object of the preposition. We have an adverbial, the day before yesterday, right? A noun phrase working as an adverb. All right. Now, if you want to focus on the person who performed this action, which is Alex, you can do that. You can say, it was Alex who did that. It was not somebody else. Let's suppose you're saying John bought a luxury car from Rahul the day before yesterday, and I'm correcting you, or I'm just focusing on Alex. It could be anyway. It was Alex who bought a luxury car from Rahul the day before yesterday. You know what happened, but you do not know who did that. So I'm saying, and I want to focus on the person who did that. So I'm saying, it was Alex who did this, who bought a luxury car from Rahul the day before yesterday. This piece of information is already known to you, all right? So you don't need to repeat it. You can simply say, it was Alex, or it was Alex who did that. All right, now I don't want to focus on the subject. I want to focus on the object of the verb, which is a luxury car, right? So I'll just focus on that, right? It was a luxury car that Alex bought from Rahul the day before yesterday. Hey, I heard Alex bought something from Rahul the day before yesterday. And you go, it was not something. It was a luxury car. It cost around $2 million. It was a luxury car he bought from Rahul, right? It was a luxury car. It was a luxury car that Alex bought from Rahul the day before yesterday. This piece of information is already known to us, so you don't need to repeat it as I've been saying it over and over again. It was a luxury car he bought from Rahul. Luxury car. Now, I don't want to focus on the subject. I don't want to focus on what was bought, the direct object. Now I want to focus on the person who this was bought from, which is the object of the preposition. Rahul, Mr. Rahul. He is the object of the preposition from. Now I want to focus on the person who this car was bought from. So I can simply do that. How would you do it? It was Rahul who this car was bought from. If you don't want to focus on the person who performed the action, or if you want to do that, you'll say, it was Rahul who Alex bought the luxury car from the day before yesterday or the other day. It was Rahul. It was Rahul, from whom or who or simply who, you don't need to say whom, you can say who or whom. It was Rahul who Alex bought a luxury car from the day before yesterday. You can use from at the end as well, or you can use it before the conjunction as well. It was from Rahul he bought this car, or it was Rahul who this car was bought from, or who Alex bought this car from. Got the point? Now, can I focus on the time of the action? Yes, you can. You can do that. You can also focus on the adverbial. All right. So he did something. He bought a luxury car from somebody. Now I want to focus on the time when it happened, which is the day before yesterday. It might be a special day. It could be a birthday, and you don't know it happened on your birthday, right? So I want you to know this, and it's important to me. So I'm gonna focus on this piece of information. So I'll say it was the day before yesterday. It was the day before yesterday when Alex bought a luxury car from Rahul. So here I am focusing on the time of the action, which is the day before yesterday, which is a noun phrase. Now, note a very important point. If the adverbial is not a noun phrase, but a prepositional phrase, you cannot say when. You will not use the conjunction well when, you will use the conjunction that. All right, if it is a prepositional phrase. For example, it was on your birthday, on your birthday, it was on your birthday that Alex did this action, right? I can also say it was if it is not if you want to focus on the place of the action, you can say it was at my house. It was at my house that he did something, right? It was at my house. Now, if it is a noun phrase, let's change the color. If I say it was my house, now it's a noun phrase, not a prepositional phrase. And this is basically a place, so I'll use the conjunction where. It was my house where Alex did this action, bought this car from XYZ. All right, this is important to note. You should know this. Now, this is the very first way to use a clef sentence, using it, pseudo subject it. Now, the second most or probably equally used clef sentences are WH clef sentences. These are clef sentences that start with WH family words. What, where, when, why. But the most used conjunction is what. So these are clef sentences that start with WH family words. Generally what, right? But can also start with how, where, when, something like this, right? But usually with the word what. These sentences usually answer a question. We use these sentences, or we frame the sentence in this way to generally answer a question, right? Let's look at the structure. So first comes the WH clause, which is known information, right? Here in this clause, the information is already known to the speaker. The person the speaker is talking to, conversing with, said somebody. So this is common information, right? This is known information. Then to be form of the verb, then comes the focus point. The element the speaker focuses on. All right. Now let me show you some examples and make you understand. So somebody asks you a question. Hey, Ashish, what do you want from me? You look at me and you say, hey, Ashish, what do you want from me? And I say, I want your support. I just want your support. Now, this is very common, non-emphatic. If I want to make it emphatic, add more feelings to it and focus on one particular point, one particular element of the sentence, I'll use a clef structure. So I'll say, what I want from you, this is known, right? What I want from you is because this is in the present, your support. What do you want from me? I want your support. I want your support. So this is basically the direct object, right? I want to focus on the direct object. So I'll use a clef structure. What I want is your support. All right. What I want is your support. And listen, man, what I really want is your support. More examples. Non-cleft. We want to hire your brother. Plain sentence, no emotion. We want to hire your brother, right? You can make it interesting, or you can make it emphatic using your voice, using intonation. But in writing, that is literally impossible without using a clef structure. I'll not say impossible. That is little tricky to do. You will have to add a lot of information to make that happen. All right, but using a clef sentence is a very easy way to do that. Let's do it. We want to hire your brother, right? Now I want to focus on the action and the object of the action, your brother, right? So who we want to hire? Listen, man, there's a lot of people who are coming to us for the post, right? But who we really want to hire is your brother. Who we really want to hire is your brother. Who we really want to hire is your brother. All right, let me show you one more example. Here we're not saying what, because it's a person. It's a person, right? Let's suppose if it was a thing, we would say what. But you cannot hire a thing. But let's suppose you own a thing that can do something for me, like a robot, all right? And I can hire that. So I'll say what we want to hire is your robot. That way it is possible to do that, but here it's a person, and for a person we cannot use what. We'll say who. Okay. Another example, non-cleft. I needed a safe house to stay. I needed, simple past tense, all right? I needed a safe house to stay. I needed what? A safe house to stay, right? What I needed was a safe house to stay. Hey, what do you needed? Safe house to stay. What I needed was a safe house to stay. Hey, what did you need? What I really needed was a safe house to stay. This is what I needed, right? So this is how we form a WH cleft sentence, right? But the most common WH cleft sentence is using what, right? Let me show you more examples of what cleft sentences, right? What I want right now is a person who I can trust. Hey man, what do you want? Don't cry, man. Tell me what you want. What I really want right now is a person who I can trust. This is what I want, right? This is what I want. What I really want right now is a person who I can trust. You don't know whether I want a thing or a person. That's why I'm saying what, right? What I want right now is a person who I can trust, right? What clause? Dependent clause. It's a dependent clause starting with the subordinating conjunction what. Then we have the subject of the clause I. Then we have the verb, right? Then we have an adverbial right now. But alone, it does not make any sense, right? On its own, it does not make any sense. What I want right now. Complete this thought, all right? What I want right now is what? So this is a complex sentence in a way, all right? Because in this sentence, we have, in this clause, independent clause, we have a dependent clause which is working as the subject of this sentence, basically a noun clause, all right? What I want right now is a person who I can trust, all right? Second example. What she really wants is your money. Hey, listen, man, leave her. Leave her, please leave her. And you say, why should I leave her? She's perfect, right? We really like each other, and we have a lot in common and stuff like that. And you say, listen, man, what she really wants from you is your money. What she really wants from you is your money. So I'm focusing on this part, your money, right? Do you know what she wants from you? You don't, I do. What she really wants from you is your money, right? Again, what clause? Third example, what I'm saying is that I can't work with you anymore. I can't work with, somebody has to be here. I can't work with you anymore. You want to tell somebody that I'm done, man, I can't work with you, and you've been trying, you're not saying this directly, or you're being really indirect to communicate this message. So the person says, hey, what are you saying, man? Tell me, what are you saying? Tell me directly, what do you mean? What are you saying? And you say, what I'm saying is that I cannot work with you anymore. This is what I'm saying, right? A normal sentence would be, I am saying that I can't work with you anymore. I am saying that I cannot work with you anymore. And a cleft is, what cleft is? What I'm saying is I cannot work with you anymore. You can drop this conjunction that, right? When it works as the direct object or the subject complement, you can do that. So here it's working as the subject complement. What I'm saying is I can't work with you anymore, or I can't work with you anymore, right? The normal sentence for the first cleft would be, what I want right now is a person who I can trust. I want a person who I can trust right now, or right now I want a person who I can trust. Second, she just wants your money. She just wants your money, or she wants your money, right? A normal sentence, okay? But apart from what, you can use other WH words as well and form a WH cleft sentence. Let me show you some examples. This is not very common, but you should know this, and you should be well equipped to use these sentences whenever required. All right, example number one, non-cleft. Sam used to live in a deserted village. Sam used to live in where? A deserted village. Now I want to focus on this part, a deserted village, right? This is basically the object of the preposition in, right? So what is known information? She or he, Sam is, I think, a guy. So he used to live somewhere, and I want to focus on the place of the action. So I'll say where, because I'm focusing on the place. So I'll use where. Where. The conjunction where talks about the place. All right. So where Sam used to live, where Sam used to live was a deserted village. Where he used to live, do you know where he used to live? Was a deserted village. Deserted village, right? So again, noun clause where, subordinating conjunction, Sam subject, right? As C, subordinating conjunction, Sam subject. Used to is sort of a modal verb. Used to live, right? Let's call it a verb phrase. Sam used to live was a deserted village. Second example, I reached home at 2 a.m. I was gonna say p.m. All right. I reached home at 2 a.m. and the timing of the action, or timing the time when I reached is important to me. Let's suppose I want to focus on this. Let's suppose you were assuming that I would be home at around 11 p.m. and I reach at around 2 a.m. So I want to focus on the time. You know that I reached home, but you don't know the time of the action, right? You don't know the time when it happened. So I'll focus on that. Man, when I reached home was 2 a.m. Ha, everybody reached home, right? You also reached home safely, right? Yeah, but do you know when I reached home? When I reached home, when to refer to time. When I reached home was 2 a.m. 2 a.m. This is when I reached home. All right. Third, so here I'm using when. In the first, I used where, right? So it's possible. It's not that common, but it's possible. Third, we do this job because we love it. We do this job. We do this job. This is the main clause, right? It can stand alone. We do this job. We do this job. Reason? Because we love it. This is a dependent clause, subordinating clause, right? Working as an adverb, it cannot stand alone because we love it. It's working as the reason why we do this job. All right. Now, I want to focus on the reason. So I'll say why, because to focus on a reason, we use why. Why we do this job, is here we are focusing on the adverbial, right? It's working as an adverb, which is basically an adverbial, right? Why we do this job is, it's in the present, so we're using is. Why we do this job is because we love it. Hey, why do you do this job? The reason why, I can also say, the reason why we do this job is because we love it. For time, I can say the time when I reached home was 2 a.m. For a place, we can say the place where he used to live was a deserted village, right? So this is how we use WH cleft sentences. Third is reverse pseudo sentences. Reverse pseudo sentences. So WH uh, cleft sentences are called pseudo sentences sometimes. And this is the third way to form a cleft sentence. We call it reverse pseudo sentence, where we focus on the or we place the focus element in the beginning of the sentence. Generally, it is done at the end of the sentence. We place it at the end of the sentence. But here, in a reverse pseudo sentence, in a reverse cleft sentence, we place the focus element in the beginning of the sentence, right? So in reverse pseudo cleft sentences, the focus, which is X, all right, is placed at the beginning, unlike the other cleft sentences, all right. Let me show you the structure. So first comes the focus point X, followed by to be verb, which is gonna be is or was. Now understand this, it doesn't matter whether the element that comes after it is singular or plural. You're always going to use a singular verb, is or was. It was my father, it was my friends, it was my father who saved you, it was my parents who saved you. All right, it's always going to be singular. Again, coming back to our point, so first comes the focus point, focus element, then followed by to be verb, is or was, followed by, it can be will be, but that is very less common. We don't use will be. It's always in the past or in the present, right? But you can use will be to focus on the future, all right, to make a sentence in the future, not focus on the future, right, to show the future tense, all right. So first comes the focus point, followed by to be form of verb, is or was, followed by WH clause, right, dependent clause. Let me show you some examples. Cleft sentence, what I gifted him was a racing car. What I gifted him was a racing car. So you know that I gifted him something, right? But you don't know what I gifted him, or you know that I gifted him something which I didn't do, right? So you have incorrect information about what I gifted him, right? So I say what I gifted him was a racing car. I want to focus on the object, right? What I gifted him was a racing car. And the normal sentence would be I gifted him a racing car. This is a normal sentence. A cleft sentence, what I gifted him was a racing car. Now, if I want to reverse it, a reverse pseudo or reverse cleft would be, this will come in the beginning. A racing car is what I gifted him. A racing car is what I gifted him. A racing car is what I gifted him. Another example, cleft, we need your support. This is not a cleft sentence, man. This is a simple sentence. Wait. Simple sentence, my bad. Simple sentence. A cleft would be what we need is your support, right? Is your support. And this is the part that I want to focus on, right? It's a normal cleft sentence, right? Pseudo cleft. Now, if I want to reverse it, this will come in the beginning, which you've done that. Your support is what we need. Your support is what we need. All right. This is how we use a reverse pseudo cleft sentence or reverse cleft sentence, right? Now, all cleft sentence. This is another way to focus on an element. This is basically like a WH cleft sentence, right? So instead of saying what I want right now is a person who I can trust, you can say all I want right now, all I want. So the only thing I want right now, all I want right now is a person who I can trust. So instead of using the word what, you can say all. All she wants from you is your money. All she wants from you is your money. All I'm saying is that I can't work with you anymore. All I am saying is that I cannot work with you anymore. So we have separate examples of this case. All right. So using all in place of what is another way to effectively put your focus to add emphasis on a particular piece of information in a sentence, which I have shown you, and I'm going to show you again. All right, example number 1. What I want right now is a person who I can trust. Another way to say the same thing is all I want right now, which is, I think, more emphatic. It's more emphatic, right? Comparing to a what cleft sentence. All cleft sentences more emphatic. To me, all I want right now is a person who I can trust. This is the only thing I want right now. So the sense of only is there. The word only is there. You can't see it, it's not visible, but you can feel it. The only thing I want right now is a person who I can trust. All I want right now is a person who I can trust. This is what I want, right? Second example. What she wants is your money. What she wants is your money. All she wants from you is your money. All she wants is your money. The only thing she wants is your money. She just wants your money. So the word just is there. She just wants your money, man. What she wants is your money. All she wants is your money. The only thing she wants is your money. So there are a lot of ways to put focus on the part you want to put focus on, or to emphasize a piece of information. All right. Third example. And before we do that, let me have a sip of water. All right. All right, everybody. Last example. I just touched him and he started crying. Hey, what did you do? Why is he crying? I just touched him and he started crying. So here, you're saying, like, I didn't do much. I just touched him gently. Like, I didn't hit him. I just touched him and he started crying. Now, you can focus on your less involvement using the word all, using an all cleft sentence. You can say, all I did, this is a dependent clause, all I did was touch him. This is what I did. Like, this is all I did. All I did was touch him and he started crying. All I did was touch him and he started crying. All I said to him was go home, and he broke up with me and stopped messaging me. So you're saying I didn't do much. So if you want to mean this, like, I didn't do much, I had less role in that, like I didn't have much role in that, you can use all cleft sentence. All I did was touch him and he started crying. All right. Now, I have a practice set for you. On your screen are some examples. What you have to do is you have to change them into cleft sentences. This is what you guys have to do. And the answers to these questions are there on my website. We have a separate post on cleft sentences, right? Let me show you that as well. This is the post, right? I'm not going to show you the answers right now. This is a very detailed post. Check out my website, go through this post, the link is there in the description, right? And match your answers, right? And you can follow our Instagram page, where every single day I post something, infographic, video, stories, learning materials basically, right? So you can follow me on my Instagram page and learn something every single day. You can follow me on my you can join our Facebook group as well, where a lot of learning things happen every single day, right? Same thing, I post a lot of learning materials and other people also do that, so feel free to join my Facebook group, right? And that's all for today, guys. That's all for today. Hope you had fun. Hope now you know what a cleft sentence is, and hope now you're able to use it. And if you liked it, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the video with others, with your friends, with the people you already know, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and press that notification button so that every single time I post a video, you get notified and you get to watch it right away. And if you have a question, if you have a query, do let me know in the comment section below. I would love to help you out with your questions. And that's it. I'll see you guys very soon. Till then, keep learning, have fun. I'm out now.